Well, good morning, everyone. Oh, goodness, my voice sounds funny. That's kind of funny. Let me plug in my fancy-dancy microphone. I just enjoyed a nice little morning and a cup of coffee hanging out with Elizabeth Brewer. I adore Elizabeth. She is such a sweetheart. So this morning, what I'm doing is, one, I have some Happy Mail. And in my Happy Mail, I have something from a lady who's in India. I won't flip it over. She is a dear, dear sweetheart. And look at how cool she painted this. I also have something that, and I can't show you the front side of the envelope, but these two magazines came out of a envelope that's pretty on the back side, and it just came from Crafting Mamas. And that's all it says in the return address. R.A.K. Crafting Mamas. So to whoever sent this lovely Happy Mail, I really appreciate that, and I'll have fun flipping through these two magazines. And look, it says, "Hey, y'all." Well, hi, Ms. Aussie. I don't know why I felt like saying your name with an accent, but that's what I felt like doing. I don't know if you've ever done the Happy Mail thing with me, going through something from Safia, but last two times she sent me something, she just blew me away. After I go through the Happy Mail, I'll just share with you really quick what I'm going to work on. Is I've already completely finished gutting this book, and when I finished it, I also save out the things that I want on the inside pages, and figured I would go through and show people how I gut a book and what I look for, and then what the different parts are that I care about as I'm gutting the book. So that's the other part if I get to it this morning. I know, I love, oops, almost did that. I'll have to cut that. But check this out. This is so cool. I'm so nervous anytime I cut anything open. But I'll get a nice little open piece and then I won't worry about it. So I don't know if you've ever been to Safia's channel, but I'll have to go hunt down that link and put Safia's channel on here. Oh good, we didn't cut anything open. Oh, I don't know why it did that. That was odd. So she sent, sorry for the noise. I'll flip this over. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Oh, she sent Sorry Silk. Oh, I can't wait to share this because I can't wait to see this myself. Look at all this crazy glare. It's like I'm surrounded by angels. I can see my screen with all the glare. Okay, so this, oh my gosh. Do you see how the color changes just a little bit? Oh, that is cool. That is a bright pink, bold greens. Oh, this is just such a shimmery fabric. And look at how big it is. I feel like I need to zoom you out just to give you a feel for the size of the fabric. Dear, dear sweetheart Safia. No kidding, this is a super yummy. Oh my gosh. Oh, you just gotta touch this. Oh my gosh. I definitely, so here's something. Why is it doing that again? It doesn't say that it's glitching. I don't know why it's doing that. That's so strange. I'm supposed to have a wicked good connection. Oh, look at this fabric. Well, my husband and I are in the process of buying a Victorian style home. We close on it this month, and decided to go with a Great Gatsby theme for the house. Oh my gosh, look at this. Which means that we can bring other parts of the world into the design of the home. Now, it's not your crappy internet connection. For some reason, it just did the spinny thing on my phone, so it's something to do with mine. Oh my gosh, look at this color. Oh yeah, and you're getting a good image of what this color looks like on the screen too, or at least my screen seems to look like it is in person right there. It is so pretty. There's a little more red in it than what you see on the screen. Oh, wow, that is amazing. She says these are fabric scraps from a sari silk producer, someone who makes sari locally, and this is from a small town in India. Let me get the name of the town in India. Hold on, it's all off screen. Let me see. Jamnagar, Gujarat. Yeah, it's got to be Gujarat. Yeah, these are definitely large scraps. Huge and beautiful pieces. I haven't full on decided, but wouldn't it be fun to sew these together and make a big fabric piece, puzzle-like? Into, I'm thinking like a tablecloth. I mean, I'd never want to eat on it, but wouldn't that be just beautiful? Or to hang long ways over a buffet table. I have a beautiful Chinese buffet table. That's a light color. Oh gosh, this is so pretty. Yummy is definitely the right word. A quilt would be beautiful too. Ooh, I could have an Indian room. Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh my gosh, it's just so stunning. Speaking of quilts, I've never made a queen size quilt. Oh my gosh, look at the size of this one. And I'm okay that it has this missing. Oh my gosh, I'm going to keep the fabric pieces as large as I can. I used to have the prettiest footstool. And it was large pieces on the, well, I guess if it's a footstool, it's not all that large, but it seemed like big squares done in a quilt style. Oh, but I absolutely love this. Yep, I like your quilt idea. Let's do that. Yeah, I think it totally would suit a Gatsby theme. Oh, look at how pretty this is. Wow. And just, oh, so lovely and long. And it smells good, too. You know, televisions need a smeller, that's for sure. Ooh, look at this blue. This looks like something I would pick up from a store. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I just love the blue. Could have a little fun with this and see if anybody would be willing to recover the dining chairs. But this is probably not durable enough for that. But it's so pretty. I really don't know. Oh my gosh. 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 I have a favorite piece. Oh my gosh. This is so gorgeous. I know that this is going to be used somewhere fanciful in the house. So what she and I do is we do exchanges between here and India. And I send her happy mail and she sends me happy mail. And I really love this. And I had the blessing of being the first person to ever send her happy mail, which is the coolest thing. I was so excited, you know, and I know that's a silly thing to be excited about, but you know, because I remember my first piece of happy mail and you just never, oh my gosh, look at this piece. You just never forget that. Look at the edge on this piece. And it's so firm. And look at this thread, how many, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just how much detail is in this design. On the back of that. Oh, that is so stunning. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I forgot what I was even talking about. No, wouldn't cushion covers be and look how much fabric this, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Look at this, these are like, I don't want to say butterflies, but look at how cool. Oh, and this is just, wow. Wow is an understatement on this piece. Holy cow. I can't stop staring at this one. Oh, and how does the edging look? It's not even fraying at the edging. Oh, that is so cool. It is a little bit, but look at the stitch. Oh, that's so beautiful. Isn't it silly that I love to look at the stitch as much as I love to look at the fabric? Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't wait to play with this. I just cannot wait to play with this. So my husband and I went shopping because the house that we bought is from the Victorian era. It was actually an historic home. It was built in, I guess it depends on your country whether or not they consider it historic, but it was built in 1910. And I feel like it's a bit of history, and they've already gone through the process of making it an historic home. All the research and all the paperwork on it is there, and oh, look at this piece. You have to see it up close. Oh my gosh. And this stitching on it is just breathtaking. Look at that. And so we fell in love with it. When you walk around the house, it just has the most wonderful, good vibes. Ooh, now this has an interesting texture to it. How can I share with you what it sounds like? It's not like the other ones. Oh, that is so pretty. It looks painted almost. Is that painted? No, it's not painted, it's stitched. You can see the stitching. But it does, doesn't it? Doesn't that look painted to you? Oh, so beautiful. And so we fell in love with this house, and because it's a Victorian design, and my husband and I went, oh my gosh, look at this one. We went and bought some antique furniture yesterday and we already are travelers. Both of us in our careers traveled to many different nations, and we've collected a few things over the years, kept a few things, and so it'll suit our personality by making it Great Gatsby theme, because we can bring stuff from other parts of the world into the theme comfortably. And the pieces we bought yesterday were vintage, a vintage dresser, a vintage chest, another vintage dresser, a vintage headboard that went with one of the dressers. And I don't remember what the other things are, but you can't feel the texture of this, but if you could, it's thicker than the other ones. There's a thick thread on there. It feels like someone did embroidery. That's what this one feels like. Holy smacks, I'm so excited to see you, Susan. How have you been? This is Happy Mail from Safia. Oh my gosh, this is like blue and green, all one color. You can't, oh, can you even see that? I want to wiggle it. Wiggle it just a little bit. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh, you can't really see what I'm seeing. You can almost see it, but in person it has more of a shimmer of the greens than what you're seeing. Hiding and working. Oh my gosh, that's fabulous. So Safi and I keep doing these amazing exchanges, and I told her, I'm not sure if I said it live or if I said it quietly in person, but we have to be careful because I feel like each time we're one-upping each other on what we send, and so we have to make sure that we don't do that. I don't ever want her to feel like she needs to do that, and oh my gosh, look at this. So Safia, if you hear this again, please make sure that you don't feel like you keep having to send. I just enjoy sending to you, and oh my gosh, this is just... Okay, I need to stop with the gooing while trying to say that at the same time. I honestly mean that. And by the way, Susan, check this out. I think I'm going to, and this is, oh, so Aussie, your name is Elaine. That's good to know. I'm going to make this probably into a quilt. And it was Elaine's idea. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. I don't know what size I'll make the squares, but I'm not going to make them all the same. Oh, I'm sorry that you got fake crap. This is straight away from India. So if she doesn't mind, I'll send you a piece or two. Oh my gosh. I can't believe they sent you fake crap. That really sucks. Well, in real, they have many different textures of the silk. And I've now bought it from online, and Safia has exchanged some with me, and I've learned that when we think of what some of our silks are and what some of theirs are, we have different weaves, different thickness of the weaves, and these sari pieces. Oh my gosh! I wish you could feel them, but I'll send you a piece or two if Safia doesn't mind, and then you can enjoy it as much as me because it's pretty amazing. And my happy mail that I sent to all the Hartists, I guess they're care packages. People keep calling them care packages. Oh, you got a sorry deal. That's so funny, Susan. But I think it's cute that people call them care packages. And when I send the Hartists their packages, sent them for last month, I sent in a donation that was sent by Tammy. Tammy, oh, I can't remember your last name at the moment. And she sent enough for me to send every one of the Hartists one piece of sari. So that was kind of cool for me to be able to send that to them. All right, here's what I'm going to craft on today and play with. And let me show you how I do a book gutting. And what I have is stuff off my boat. And one I didn't even open. And so for those of you who don't know, I used to have a boat that I lived on, and see if I can get this to where I know where the edge is. The books that I had on the boat, I really don't need as much anymore. Well, my husband woke up early today. Dag nabbit. I might not be able to stay on too long. Okay, so I have all these that I'm going to be taking apart, and they have amazing images. Well, this one, not so many. Some of them have amazing images. So all I do is I have maintenance and repairs, outfitting, and one that I've already done. So I'll show you what I did as my gut process. So the first thing I do is obviously just take off the cover. These books will eventually be remade into a different kind of book. The dust jacket So when you take off the dust jacket, you're left with just the basic part of the book. Then the next thing that I do is, and I've already done this in advance because I fussy with it for a long time and figured you didn't want to be bored with me fussing with it, because I like to take out, this is called a text block for those of you who are bookmakers. This text block, because it's all glued, it's not stitched in. I was able to very carefully, patiently peel it out. And if you ever want to try to peel it out, usually this first page is glued right there on some of these kinds of books. And so this is how it looked. You can see that it did get a little bit of moisture from being on that boat. It's no big deal. So after I take out the text block, then what I do is I will, and I'll just show you on my first page, I will just carefully rip out the pages like this. Sometimes I'll take 2 pages and rip them together, and if they stay together they might actually be a spread in a book, and I'll be careful on which ones I choose for that because I like to make sure that I have good writing area on them for, you know, putting them into a junk journal. And so I have good writing area on the back side and all around these pages, so I like to have a spread for the junk journals on the double pages. So I will go through and see if things make a good spread. So even though this is just one side, this would be a good spread also. Sometimes it doesn't always come out, oh, that one did, but sometimes it doesn't come out perfect. So this is beautiful words in here, so if I'm doing die cuts, I know it's not going to be racy. Oh, and look at that image. So, but I'll look at this and go, okay, well, this page is text on both sides, so I'll use it for die cutting. I'll set it aside. This is text on both sides, so it's used for die cutting. And this one has an image. So then I'll go through and take my ruler and trim out the image. And so you don't even need any fancy tools. Even when I tore out the text block, I did it with my hands when they were working really well one day. The storm jib, yeah, that's good stuff. So if you're tearing it with a ruler, rather than tearing the smaller side, which is possible and it's easy to line up, I actually like to tear the larger side because it gives me more control. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use this for a pocket later, which is a possibility. So I'm going to actually just leave it framed like this. Or sometimes I'll use this later in a book because I have the white on both sides. I'll use it as a belly band, even though it's nice and wide. And so that's how I view my pages when I tear them apart. Well, hi Debbie, nice to see you. I don't know if I sent that email to you. If I didn't send you an email yesterday, I'll get one out to you with the new logo. Oh, and Susan, my husband and I bought a house, and it's in a Victorian design, built in 1910. I'm going to have so much fun decorating and preparing this house. Okay, so now I've just taken you through the general of what I like to think about when I'm doing books that have beautiful images in them and words that I know are not racy that I can put in die cuts. So let me show you how I've already deconstructed a book. And these go to this book. I like to keep the stuff together too because sometimes I'll just turn this whole book into one kit for somebody and provide all the things they need to make themselves a book after I do enough die cuts. Okay, so here's how I took one apart. these are all of the ones I plan to make die cuts out of. It's a whole stack of papers that are ripped and in pieces. And if it's smaller, I might just already pre-pocket them. Shoot, I might even make this one into a book myself. We'll see. I just love the boat books. Oh no, so sorry to hear what, Debbie? I'm so sorry you're in the hospital. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope it's a short stay, and I hope it's something they can fix. So this is some of my white space that didn't come out well in my... I just dropped my ruler. I'll get it later. This is good white space, and so I'm not sure how I'm going to use it yet, but it's good for journaling. Okay, again, white space, and so all of these pages right here is just a short bit of pages with good white space. So that's the second stack. So first die cutting, then my white space stack. Now here I have a tiny block that I kept together, and that's because I like the content in this block. And so I ripped out material and methods because I like the content of the teak, mahogany, butternut, pine, etc. And then it's talking about the plywood, and then I'm done with it, right? And it kind of stops at that page. So sometimes I'll tear out something just for the content that I enjoy and use this as an insert into another book. And I have a really big book that I'm currently thinking through on what to put into that. And you never know. This little block could be just a good painty paper book where I put a soft cover on it. I just never know what I'm going to do. But I wanted to keep it together because I really liked that content. Here's another one where I decided not to do just a white paper block. This will be a painty paper block. And another painty paper block. But let me take you through the images that I sorted here. And because it's a do-it-yourself improvement project, I was lucky enough to get some figures that look like sketches that came out of the book. And so all of these I have sorted that are just beautiful black and whites that, like this one will make a beautiful pocket. This one will be a belly band, another pocket, and you can see that I don't, and again, belly band. This one will be a pocket where I lose the words, pocket where I get to keep the words, pocket with keeping the words, belly band. This is just going to end up being backed and be a, oh, when I rip it out like this. And all I do is use my metal ruler to rip them. You saw me earlier just ripping them, right? So I'll line it up with my metal ruler and just pull it up, and that's why I end up with the rough edge that you see there. Hopefully that shows you. And I like the way these look. And so instead of doing all one book where I use the same supplies from the book, I can divvy these out, or I can make them into a whole bunch of pieces for different books. But these sketchy images from this book are fabulous. And so you can see how I'm thinking through which ones are going to be, like this one is going to be a bottom tuck. And so based on how I end up being able to pull them out of the book is whether or not I'll use them as a belly band, like these two, a bottom tuck, belly band, pocket, etc. And then just store them back in these pages until I decide what I'm going to do with them. This is what I do on the couch these days while the hubs and I are spending time together. He likes to watch TV and hang out because, you know, he just can't be as active, although we did get some great news from the doctor recently that well, I don't want to get into too much detail, but I have a glimmer of hope, and that's the best thing anyone can hear. I don't remember why. Oh, these ones I haven't decided what to do with yet. I just took some pages and ripped out the border of white. I really don't know the answer why when I get the book, but essentially my other books I'll probably end up doing the same thing, but I'm not fully predictable. These may be just simple painty pages with book text in the back. And again, all I used was my ruler. Now, when I'm sitting on the couch, I usually have something, oh, and this is a multi-page pull-out as well. I like adhesives, so maybe my brain was like, ooh, let's pull out the adhesive section. I don't know. But I usually have a big cutting mat that sits on my lap with a little soft side on the bottom. I'll show you what that is when I'm sitting on the table. I was sitting on the table, sitting on the couch. Oh, it's this guy. The Omnigrid. And so I use this for quilting. And this is the ironing board side, but I fold it and it hits my lap. And then this side is my cutting mat side, but you can see that it's 18 inches. And so on my cutting mat side, I have plenty of room to tinker with the papers. Now these figures that I pull out of this one, oh, just a white page, that should be in the other section. These ones, besides this text, are images, but they're black and white images, and so I didn't discern which images to keep or get rid of, I just kept them all. And so sometimes the images were so surrounded by text that it can only be used as belly bands. And this is way more than one book can use, but this is why I like these textbook style books when I disassemble one. And I personally like steampunk, so some of the things that are in these images will layer up nicely and may actually be used for the images themselves in clusters or in projects. Like this is a great background for an image. So rather than using these as all belly bands, it'll probably be image layering for the ephemera for books. And I just love the tools. I mean, look at this tool, for goodness sakes. Buffing, look at it, pull on, push off. You know, and it's probably oversharing with you guys on all the images from this one book, but you get an idea of how I personally disassemble a book without having me spend all the time on the camera disassembling with you. But my next book, oh wait, and then of course you're left with the spine. Now the way I pull out the spine when it's a glue book like this is I'll take, this is, I think I showed you just a second ago my text block. Here we go. Right. Sometimes you just get lucky. And you can see that my first page, I peel it away. These go with that. So here's my book. My first page used to be attached to one of these pages. And I'll find the page it was. And you can see that glue line right here. And this is the page it was attached to. And I just carefully separate these two pages. So let's do that really quick together on another book. That's the beauty of being able to do many of these at the same time. All right, take care. So I can take my maintenance and repair one and see if I can get you. And you don't need to spend all the time with me gutting the books, but just know that I'll be working on these. All right, so I come in, and I know I've done this on another video, but these ones actually are small enough. I might be able to do one to demonstrate for you, and I'm just tugging at it. I have destroyed spines by doing it this way, but most of the time it comes out intact. Okay, you can see it's just peeling more and more away, and then I start to bend the spine back. Until I can get it to where I want it, and I keep fussing with it. Tugging at it. And then I'll go to the other side. And this is my first page, and I can see that my first page, I'm sorry, this is my very last page, and I can see that my last page is glued to the second to last page. And you can see that here. You see that? How that book, it's called a text block. How that text block is separated from that last page. And you can, actually there's a good view of it right there. As you can see, when you look at these two pages, it's different than the rest of the text block. So I'm just going to be tugging at it until I can separate this last page from the rest of the text block. And just keep tugging at it. I do have an X-Acto knife, which I use sometimes to get it started, but I would prefer not to use it because then I actually lose this part. Now, the reason I'm tugging at it, oops, I'm off camera. The reason I'm tugging at it to get this part of the block away is because I can see that the whole back of it is glued in. So each one of your books that you have, they do end up getting disassembled differently. One of the ones I showed you before, the back layer came from this, I think it's called the header. I don't remember what it's called. This blue and white striped piece actually came off the spine, the one I did on camera before. But in this case, it's glued to the spine so hardcore that I can't get anything behind it, which means I'm going to try to pull it off. And you can see what I mean when I'm trying to pull it off at the top part there and how much glue there is in the block. And I will be super patient, which is what we all need to learn to be better at anyway, at pulling it off. And I'm just tugging. And now you see the text block and the glue itself as it's coming off. And when I finish getting this block off, I'm going to go ahead and knock the block. Let's knock the text block off. But when I finish this text block, which as you can see, I'm tugging with some force. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and sign off because I got to go hang out with the hubs. You know, we never know how many days we all have left, months we have left, years we have left with the people we love, so let's enjoy the time that we have, right? That's it. That's the next block ready to go, and now I'll show you again. It's nice and white and bright here, this line, and you can see how much glue they used and how this is glued down to such a degree I could not have pulled the back part out or undone it. I could have, but it would have destroyed the spine. Do you see this right now is starting to peel up because I just tested it? But it's fine. And now when I go to strengthen the spine, I'll cut it to where it's the width from where my thumb is to thumb is. This is not a regular ruler, it's in millimeter or in centimeters. But I'll cut a piece of tape that's about 2.5 centimeters. And then I'll line that part of the spine to strengthen it before I stitch in or do it Midori style. And that's it. There's another block out. And you can do what you want with each one of your text blocks. But you can even see how when I open to this page is even glued in. Do you see that? And I don't know why some of them are like that. There you go. So it must have just been where it's separated and they reattached it. Alright, maintenance and repairs block goes back home. And this one is the one that I prepared in advance. So time for me to head out, and thank you for joining me, for those of you who did, and you guys stay out of trouble. Take care. And oh, by the way, thank you so much for the amazing Sorry, Safia. Hugs and love, everybody. Bye-bye.